What we've seen happen over the last 24 hours is the recovery date being pushed back. We saw a little bit of that on Monday when the airlines moved their waiver of change fees through the month of April, which means really they're looking at May as the first real month for travel in this year. Yesterday we saw a series of travel advisories nudging the recovery in the same direction. Ireland's travel ban applies until March the 29th. The British introduced one until a week after Easter, and the EU ban also applies to the week after Easter. That's mostly relevant for inbound passengers, and that of course has a knock-on effect on the viability of particular air routes. From an outbound point of view, if you look at the Travelwrap app, it's a series of oranges, a couple of reds, but every country in the world is now orange. Avoid unnecessary travel. And while that runs out on March the 29th, it would be surprising if there wasn't an extension for at least another 2 weeks onto that. Just to summarise, 3 countries now in total lockdown. That's Italy, Spain and France. A lot of the other markets are still open. It's almost easier to name the countries that are open for business than the ones that are closed. From an aviation point of view, they include Spain and France, and also Portugal, Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, Britain and Ireland. The north of the continent and the east of the continent are locked down in various ways. Polish flights that are continuing are repatriation flights. Poland is closed for business, which is hugely significant for Ireland. At this time of the year, we have 57 flights to Poland. That compares with 59 to the Canaries and 166 to Spain. The Spanish repatriation is going well. The first bank of flights got out this morning, as did all of yesterday's. So whatever pressure is being put on at departmental level by Simon Coveney on the Spaniards seems to be working. We haven't had a repeat of the air traffic control shambles that we had last Saturday. It would be hard to convince the people who are in a 23 minute queue in Terminal 2 this morning in Dublin Airport that the aviation business is slowing down. Terminal 1 was a lot better, but a lot of business still being done today on the aviation side. What we've lost, a couple of KLM flights to Amsterdam, BA flights to London City and to Heathrow, Ryanair's Poland flights, and the first of the Turkish flights, TK 1976. The Turkish flights will be suspended because Turkey has barred entry to all non-citizens. And we have a couple of American cancellations, American to Philadelphia and Aer Lingus to Hartford and to Minneapolis. America's situation, just to recap, is that entry is restricted to 13 airports. They do not include 4 of the airports served from Ireland, Hartford, Orlando, Minneapolis and Philadelphia. Aviation is distressed worldwide. IATA had a statement to say that of the 700 airlines operating, only about 30 will survive. What we've seen in Europe yesterday is a scramble back to the old days. Alitalia was quite spectacularly and unexpectedly renationalised by the Italian government. This is after pouring tranches of money and putting it up for sale for the last 2 years. Scandinavian SAS also got government money. Norwegian are now complaining, saying if they get it, we need it as well. IAG, or BA's leg, is going to the British government. There is a question, what government do you go to for state aid? In the case of IAG, they're a Spanish company, and of course they own Aer Lingus, which is in Ireland. And if the Irish government was coughing up money to compensate Aer Lingus, where does that leave Ryanair? Ryanair made some sort of a move to try and resolve the big check-in dilemma. This is where people who have already checked in for a flight cannot check out again to check in again for a rescheduled flight, for instance, trying to get back from Spain early. They unchecked all the passengers from March the 21st to March the 28th, which means they'll all have to check in again. And that solved one side of the problem. The other side of that problem is that people who've checked in for flights between now and March the 21st cannot uncheck. They're still stuck in that situation. Getting through to the call centre is a bit of a nightmare. And agents are seriously stressed trying to deal with this. Customers are coming in looking for the change, and agents are hanging on for, in some cases, several hours waiting for a reply, and sometimes being cut off at the end of that. It's not easy for agents and it's not easy for airlines who are having double daily crisis meetings. Repatriation from Lanzarote is quite exotic and the customers there take to Twitter quite easily. The repatriation from Poland was almost as big a task. Coping with it well, it's what airlines do. They do that after major storms, major weather incidents, the March 2018 snow and all the way back to the ash cloud. It's a sight to behold how they can get everything back up and running after an event like this. The real problem here is that forward bookings are very distressed, cash flow is under pressure, and all the airlines are talking about grounding fleets. It does look like most of the aircraft in Europe will be on the ground by Sunday, and that includes our two major airlines operating out of Ireland. All we have to do now is think of what sort of recovery is in store and when that might come. It could be like SARS, it was a very steep V and very quickly. It could be like 9/11, it took 6 months and then it recovered remarkably quickly. It does mean there will be a pent-up demand for travel which has to be unleashed, and hopefully we'll all be around to see it.